Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Good evening and welcome to the January 21st, 2025 City Council meeting. Hope everyone is staying warm. I am calling this meeting to order. It is 7 p.m. Thank you for joining us. Recently, I want to just make a quick announcement. Recently, we've seen some negativity on social media. Let's not let their actions affect the positive spirit of our community. Oldsmar is a friendly, close-knit, and it's important to come together, especially during these challenging times. We all aren't always going to agree, but I strongly believe that we can be civil with each other. Let's move forward, promoting harmony and respect and making our community better for all. With that, next on our agenda is our invocation and our pledge allegiance to the flag. Our city attorney, Tom Trask, will lead us. Please rise.
Our Heavenly Father, as the citizens of the city of Oldsmar meet together to address our local concerns and opportunities, we give thanks to you for the bounty that we enjoy in all aspects of our community life. We ask for your inspiration to strive for excellence in our endeavors to serve the public. Grant us peace in our world and harmony between all people to your greater glory. This we pray.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom. Our first item is our open forum. If anybody would like to speak, each speaker will be recognized once and we're limited to a 5-minute comment on any subject that is not scheduled for a public hearing. The opening forum will conclude at 7:30 p.m. If you have filled out a speaker card, please hand it to the city clerk. Filling out a speaker card is not mandatory, and you will still be given the opportunity to speak. When speaking, please give your name and your address for the record. Is there anybody that'd like to speak? David, you want to go first?
Good evening, everyone. My name's David Pratt, and I live at 204 Lexington Street in Oldsmar, obviously. Just for disclosure, I am a candidate for Oldsmar City Council, seat 4. But that's not why I'm up here today. I know a lot of you know my name, but you don't know me. If you'd like to know more about me, you can go to my website, davidprattforcitycouncil.com. But I just wanted to say this past weekend, I had the opportunity to go to Touch a Truck, and wow, what an event that was. It was phenomenal. The fire department and the first responders, I think, just did a marvelous job. It was packed. There were cars all over the place. There were kids. The kids were laughing. The parents were having a great time. I didn't have a chance to stay too long, but it was kind of nice. I got to see Mayor Saraki there and Councilwoman Tadrzewski.
So close.
So close. And City Manager, Felicia Donnelly. And I know the people that were there really appreciated that you were there. I could tell everybody was having a good time. The first responders, I appreciated that you were all there, and the fire department. And hats off to them for doing a great job. I think they deserve a round of applause, actually. Wonderful, wonderful job, and it's the type of thing we need to see more of in this city. So, thank you.
Thank
With
you.
that, I'll sit down.
Thank you.
Hey, well, come on up, Orlando.
Good evening. Orlando Payne in my studios right across the street from Oldsmar, 1376 West Hillsborough. I wanted to quickly publicly congratulate my cast members for the Nutcracker Suite in December. I haven't been here in a while. They did an incredible job. Last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, 7 students attended the Youth American Grand Prix at the Strass Center, and they also had an incredible experience. They both competed in, the girls competed in ballet and contemporary piece. I also got to meet Abby Lee Miller. She is from Dance Moms. She has a powerful presence, but in person, she's a really nice person, and we hit it off. We have mutual friends, my friend Michelle Rack, who's been in 9 Broadway shows, so we connected instantly. And she's coming to here, Oldsmar, Tampa, to do a workshop, which is great. So we're getting a lot of publicity with that. February 1st, I have flyers. we're doing Mary Poppins, and that's also the Ovations cast, so it's great for anybody from 3 to 102. You'll have a good time. It's an hour and 15-minute show. And then on February 22nd, I was asked to choreograph the charity Polo Classic. So you should all look online, the Charity Polo Classic. And I'm doing the grand opening number, and they have skydivers, and it's a huge organization to help kids with cancer research, and I'm very excited for that. And the kids won't be performing, but I'll be hiring older dancers to participate because it's an adult event. But it's in Plant City, so attend that. So we're keeping busy, and I still, even though I'm across the street from Oldsmar, I still feel that I'm part of Oldsmar. So
Oh,
I have
we
flyers
adopted
here. I'll leave them. And
You're
any
adopted.
questions?
You're adopted. We already.
I'm adopted.
We already
good.
adopted.
You know, because I want to live on Shore Drive. All right, I'll leave
Thank
flyers
you,
over here.
Orlando. Great
Yeah,
job.
or, yeah,
Thank
some,
you.
Yeah.
some here, and then we can put them out. Thanks, Orlando.
Have a great evening. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
rehearsal now. So.
Thanks, Orlando.
Anybody else on this side of the room would like to speak to the city council? Come on up.
My name is John Durrell. I live on Lemonwood Drive here in Oldsmar. I don't have much to say today, but just wanted to remind people, March 11th, we're having our elections. So Mayor Dan and Katie are running, and Sean and David Pratt, as we know. And then congratulations to Val, because you've already won and you don't have to run a third time. So I didn't have much to say, but just with recent national elections and then our elections coming up, I just wanted to announce it to people watching at home. March 11th, get out and vote. Circle it on your calendar and make a point to get out. Because on local elections, there should be a lot of stuff we agree on. Even on national elections, I talk to a lot of residents that are on the other side, and we agree on what happens in Oldsmar. In previous elections, density was the issue, and Mayor Dan and Val have voted courageously against density, high-rise apartments, and it's probably going to be a major issue in this next election as well. Personally, I don't want more traffic. I don't want more children, too many children in the schools for overcrowding. And I know it's one of David Pratt's big issues too. I've personally spoken to him, and he said he doesn't want more high-rise, high-density apartments. So if that's one of your issues, David Pratt is your man. And get out and vote March 11th. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side of the room like to speak to the council? How about this side of the room? Come on up, Jerry.
Jerry Beavan, Pine Avenue South. Our fire department's the best in the damn state in the world. I remember when I ran for mayor, my opponent had his son-in-law was on the fire department, and they went out there and campaigned against me diligently. I mean diligently. And I won the election. The first thing I did the next day is I went to the fire department, to the chief assistant and the men, and I told them, I am going to be the biggest supporter of you for the rest of your firefighting life. And I've been a big supporter of the fire department, and I really mean it. It didn't matter. Everybody has a right to vote for however you want, and that did not sway me one bit. And I don't get, and when I was mayor, I didn't allow any Washington, D.C. politics to be talked about in this city. I didn't, not one time. Anyway, down at the bike track, somebody took my name down, and took Don's name down, took Marcelo's name down, and threw in the trash can. So I'm asking the city to put the bronze plaque back up at the BMX tracks. You'll get a copy of the dedication of the BMX track. It's gone, it's been gone. So I would appreciate if you put that bronze plaque back up on the big wall with our names back on it. You know, people would like to throw me in a garbage can, but don't throw the bronze plaque in the garbage can, please, okay? I know y'all are tired of me talking about the code enforcement, but code enforcement is important in this city, please. There's been talk about from City Hall, transparency, that's fine. But you got people out here, I think they've been told, because I've been told, that if you complain about something, your name has to go in a book, which is fine, that's transparency. The city can take the name, put it in a book, that they're the ones complaining. But you don't have to go to the people that is violating the code. Now, we're here because Jerry Beaverland complained about it. You don't have to do that. That law does not say that. It says that you have to give your name to the city on a complaint, and that's fine. Put it in the book and let it go. Now, I look at the eyeballs of your city attorney. Is Steve, something wrong with Steve?
He doesn't feel well.
He's really sick.
Okay. I know Tom's gonna get it out, and he's gonna research it again, and we may butt heads again, but the transparency is only to the city. It doesn't go any further than that. You don't have to tell the people. That Jerry, now, I was told that.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I was told that we're gonna tell the people. Well, I don't care, Sal, I'm the type that doesn't care. But some people care.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not why you're getting a lot of complaints, because they don't want their name out there, and that's not right. As long as the city has it on a book somewhere, that's all that's required. I don't want to debate your incredible city attorney, but I may have to on that one. And 580 St. Petersburg Drive was a thoroughfare, a state road from 1926 until in the late 1990s. For 100 years, the state took care of St. Petersburg Drive. And maybe y'all haven't read that yet, which I give y'all. For the next quarter of a century, the city took care of the ditches on St. Petersburg Drive. Then all of a sudden, one morning they woke up, got their mail. Now you've got to mow the ditches on St. Petersburg Drive. It was never a hometown street. And today, I don't consider it a hometown street because you got businesses on it. In fact, it's zoned for businesses. And I think it's not right. For 125 years, it was being mowed by the city and state of Florida, and then all of a sudden, you gotta mow it. And the bell just rang. So I'll shut up and sit down. And I'll wait for the attorney tracks to tell me I'm wrong again.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry.
Is there anybody else that'd like to speak to the council? Come on up. I like your hat. Oh, wow.
All right, Amber Stevens, 318 Lafayette Boulevard. Just real quick, I just wanted to share that Operations Jack's Village is meeting this Saturday, February 1st at Community United Methodist Church, 12:30 to 1, just to make the annual Valentine's that we do every year. There's actually a very, very good story about that, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to share that tonight. So one, you'll either have to come to hear about it, or two, come find me. So just wanted to share that and come on out. So thank you for your time, and stay warm.
Thank you. Anybody else before I close? I'm closing the open forum. Thank you very much for everyone for coming out. Next item on our agenda is the community minute, and this will be read by our city clerk, Kristen Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Ship Hurricane Home Repair Grant. Applications are open for a hurricane home repair program to help homeowners impacted by Hurricane Helene or Milton to pay for storm repairs not covered by insurance or FEMA. Eligible residents may receive up to $30,000 in grant funding provided by Florida State Housing Initiatives Partnership Program and Pinellas County. For details, please visit oldsmarstrong.com. The U.S. Small Business Administration has announced a 60-day grace period for its low-interest disaster loans for residents, businesses, and private nonprofit organizations. SBA will still accept physical damage disaster loan applications for 60 days beyond the January 7th, 2025 filing deadline through March without requiring an explanation of why your application was delayed. Apply online at lendingsba.gov. Or also you can find information at oldsmarstrong.com. And then also there is an artist reception for the city's new art exhibit on Tuesday, January 28th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at City Hall. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Next item is approval of additional new agenda items, which is 4, 7, and 11. Do I have a motion?
Motion to, a second.
I got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item is our consent docket. This will be read by our city clerk, Kristen Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 1, consider approval of minutes of the January 7th, 2025 council meeting. Item 2, consider approving payment to legal counsel for December 2024 legal services. Item 3, consider awarding the purchase of 2025 Ford F-150XL Super Cab Truck and F-350XL Super Duty Crew Cab Truck to Duval Ford per the pricing terms and conditions of FSA contract FSA 24-VEL 32.0 Pursuit, Administrative, and Other Vehicles.
Thank you very much for that. Does anybody wish to pull anything from the consent docket? All right, then I'll entertain a motion.
So moved to approve?
Second.
I got a motion in the second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next is interview applications for the Library Materials Reconsideration Committee. The Library Materials Reconsideration Committee, established by Resolution 2024-31, consists of 5 members, 4 city residents, and the Library Director, Susan Hurley. 4 resident members were appointed by the council on November 5th, 2027. However, one has resigned, Alicia, and I don't know how to say that last name, so I don't want to screw that up. And tonight, how do you say it?
Castaneda.
Castaneda, thank you. Tonight, we received 2 applications for the available position. I will call upon each applicant in alphabetical order. Ginger, would you like to come up?
That would not be alphabetical.
Well, Scott is the
Scott
first
would
one.
come first in the alphabet.
On my thing, okay, then is,
Scott Moore.
By last name.
By last
Alphabetical by
name.
last name.
Or even by first name. Scott.
Oh, yeah, it would be. You're right.
I don't think Scott is here, right?
Irrelevant then.
Yes, it's irrelevant.
All right, it's your turn.
So Ginger, you're going first with the applicant. Yes,
May I, just quickly, I do want to address, Ginger is my mother-in-law, and so I did want to double check with our city attorney that it's not a conflict. She does not live in my household and she's not part of my immediate family, so I'm still obligated to vote on this
That is
matter.
correct. It's not a conflict, and she can vote on this issue.
Thank you.
thank you, council member. All right, so would you like to tell us a little about yourself and why you wish to be on the Library Materials Reconsideration Committee?
Okay, well, it all started back in kindergarten. Seriously, my kindergarten class was in the basement of the library in my hometown, so I was always in the library. And my love for libraries has not changed in all the years. I love to read. I've taught all my kids to read. I've taught most of my grandkids to read, and they all are very passionate about it. I am a very frequent visitor of the Oldsmar Library. And I think I could do the job.
Perfect. Do we have any questions?
Yes.
Okay, all right. We figured you would have one.
Well, I'm going to ask the same questions that I asked all the other candidates
Sure.
at the previous meeting. So the first one is, what do you believe the role of the library is in a community?
See, to me, the library is a focal point of the community because it's where everybody can go to learn, to interact, to have a community spot. We can't all go to City Hall. It's not open most of the time, sometimes when we have events, but you can go to the library all the time. It's a great place for families to meet, for my grandkids to say, hey, Grandma, can we go to the library? And it means something. When you have families that are meeting in the library, it not only becomes an education spot, but a meeting spot. It's a really important tool for any community.
My second question, do you use our library and how frequently?
Yes, all the time. Although I will say, since my family knows I like to read and they got me several books for my birthday and Christmas, I'm still tied up with them at the moment. So when I finish them, I'll be back at the library.
Perfect.
And then my last question is, what's the last book you read and did you like it?
So I'm currently reading 2 books, part of my Christmas present. The first one it's called Sin City. It's by James Swain. He's actually a local author. He lives up in Keystone Lake. Our library has had him as a guest speaker. He's a very interesting character. He writes crime fiction. The other book I'm reading that my son gave me is a little bit more difficult to read. It's called The Ship of Theseus. It's J.J. Abrams wrote it under a pen name. And I actually had to Google how to read it because I've never experienced a book like this. So it's a little bit of a challenge. And that would be reflecting of my son, your husband.
Seems appropriate.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Yes.
Ginger, do you have an understanding of the purpose of the Library Reconsideration Committee?
Well, I think it's when someone objects to a book or calls a book into question of how appropriate it may be, that it's up to the library committee to read the book, talk about what specifically in the book was objectionable, and determine whether we think it's objectionable and what the outcome should be for that.
Okay. And this was a question for everybody, but do you have any reservations about serving in a committee that could be controversial at any given?
No, not at all.
I didn't think that you would, but in fairness, I was going to ask everybody. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Knapp, any questions?
What is your favorite book of all time?
Boy,
Don't screw it up.
I will go by the book I stayed up all night reading. It was so thick. It was a very thick book, and I couldn't put it down. I literally stayed up all night till I had to go to school the next day. It was a Stephen King book called The Stand. So
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
What was your favorite book?
My favorite book, ooh, turned it around on me. I have been deep in a lot of business, nonfiction, management stuff. I would say Good to Great is a very good one.
Good.
Valerie, what's your favorite?
Harry Potter, hands down.
Harry Potter?
there you go.
If you ask anybody who knows me closely,
That's
Harry
true.
Potter.
Halloween, Trunk or Treat.
I couldn't narrow it down to one book.
All right,
It's
your
all
turn.
of them.
Okay, I have 2. Your turn.
Okay, so this is a bit of a guilty pleasure. You guys won't be surprised that my favorite author is Jane Austen, and my favorite book is Pride and Prejudice. I actually have a tote bag that says, "Are the shades of Pemberley to be thus polluted?" I have 5 different versions of it, including an annotated version and a version that has all of the letters written between Elizabeth, Darcy, and all the parties. It tucked in between. Remember the Christmas postman, and you go to the page and then there'd be the letter inside of. So I have that version. I fell in love with that book, and I fell in love with literature. And when I read that book with, I think, my 8th grade English language arts teacher.
I have the same type of book, but with Harry Potter.
Harry Potter has
It's got
that.
Harry
You have
Potter.
Harry.
It's got the acceptance letter and everything. Yeah.
I have many other favorites, but if I had to narrow it down to just one, that's where it goes.
So I have 2. So when I was in high school, my favorite book was Jaws. And then the movie came out, and I love that. And my second book was, when I moved to Florida, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. That really set me off to some new heights. And I even actually found the hard copy, which is very rare. So those are my 2. Ginger, thank you so much for coming. I need a motion to approve.
I think we should.
Motion to appoint.
Do we want to
Point.
vote?
Oh,
Need to vote?
I don't need to vote, but I just want to be in fairness to Mr. Maury. So we'll just, okay, we'll do it like this. I make a motion to approve Ginger Tartazeski as the library material reconsideration committee member.
Okay, before we go any further, thank you. Do you want to give a report? Has Scott gotten back to you at all, or have you been in
He
touch?
did reach out to him over the last 2 weeks. We called him and emailed him, and he did not get back to us about if he could attend tonight.
Okay, so we have a motion, and that was explained, so do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any other discussion on that? Then all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All right, welcome to the
Thank you,
team.
thank you.
Thanks, Ginger.
Thanks, Ginger.
Next item on our agenda is our city attorney, Tom Trask.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 5 is the public hearing and first reading of ordinance 2024-21. I'll read that ordinance by title only. This is ordinance 2024-21, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending section 6.11, variances and appeals, of Article 6, flood control, stormwater management, and wetlands protection of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar to designate a special magistrate in lieu of a variance review board to hear and decide on requests for appeals and requests for variances from the strict application of Article 6, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effect of this ordinance. This is the first reading of ordinance 2024-21 by title only.
Thank you, and the city staff has a presentation. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Tatiana Childress, City of Oldsmar Planning and Redevelopment Director. So this is CA 2409, text amendment to the flood ordinance. I will repeat, so currently all requests for appeals and variances from the stricter applications of the Land Development Code Section 6.11, flood control, stormwater management, and wetland protection must be heard and decided by Variance Review Board. The Land Development Code states that Variance Review Board shall hear and decide appeals when it is alleged there is an error in any requirement, decision, or determination made by the floodplain administrator in the administration and enforcement of Article 6. So what we're proposing, the city proposes to make some changes to this ordinance by replacing basically our Variance Review Board with the special magistrate. And this is a request for an amendment to Section 611, variances and appeals of Article 6, flood control, stormwater management, and wetland protection of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar to designate a special magistrate instead of the Variance Review Board to hear and decide on requests for appeals and requests for variances from the strict applications of Article 6. This text amendment request was reviewed against the 3 conditions outlined in Section 3.13.2. The proposed text amendment complies with the comprehensive plan and advances the Land Development Code. The special magistrates, as opposed to a variance review board, are often legal professionals with experience in land use laws, making them very well suited to handle appeals and variance requests. The amendment promotes community welfare by providing a more efficient, streamlined process by which property owners may receive expedited decisions. And the amendment will not grant a special privilege, as this will be required to apply within the special flood hazard area to any homeowner. With that, staff recommends that the City Council adopt an ordinance to amend Section 6.11, variances and appeals, of the Article 6, flood control, stormwater management, and wetland protection of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar to designate a special magistrate instead of the Variance Review Board to hear and decide on requests for appeals and requests for variances from the strict application of Article 6. And we're submitting the staff report into the record. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. Oh, do we have any questions for staff before I do that?
No.
No? Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. Is there anybody that would like to speak for or against this item? All right, with that, I will close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second, any discussion? All right, roll call. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Gannon, go ahead.
I just wanted to put, help give a little bit of clarity, because I think this is kind of confusing. Like, why are we changing from a variance board? We've done that before to a special magistrate. And to me, it's really important that we do this for the appeals that we are encouraging people to take from the substantial damage assessments that are happening. And a special magistrate can make it faster, can make it more streamlined, can make it more fair, that they could be a retired judge, they could be a mediator, an arbitrator, a lawyer in that type of law. It can create uniformity in the decisions, and then we're not putting neighbors in the position of deciding what happens to their neighbors. I think that's unfair to everyone involved. So I think this is really important. I especially like that it will kind of move it along more quickly, because I think that's what our residents want the most. So thank you for bringing this forward, staff.
Yep. Anything else? All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Tadaszewski,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Siraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-21 passes on a first reading with 4 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you very much. Item 6.
Mayor, this is a public hearing and first reading of ordinance 2024-19. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2024-19, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the definition of substantial improvement in section 6.14.1 of Article 6, flood control, stormwater management, and wetlands protection of Part 3 of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date. This ordinance, that was the first reading of ordinance 2024-19 by title only, and Ms. Childress is going to make a presentation on this as well.
Yes, thank you. So again, this is CA 2408. And a little bit of a background on this. So, as you know, the City of Oldsmar is a participating community. So the National Flood Insurance Program was established by Congress in 1968 to address the protection of communities from flood damage through floodplain management and to provide businesses and residents the opportunity to purchase flood insurance coverage. The NFIP was established to reduce the financial risks associated with the flooding for property owners and renters through insurance. In return, participating communities must adopt floodplain management regulations that meet or exceed the minimum requirements of the NFIP to reduce future flood damage. The City of Oldsmar joined this program as a participant in 1971 and is referred to as a participating community, which means that Oldsmar is a community for which the Department of Homeland Security's Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has authorized the sale of flood insurance under the NFIP. We also participate in the CRS, which is the community rating system, and currently we're Class 5 with over 2,500 points verified. As part of the CRS points and as part of the CRS program, we have what we call the cumulative, the 5-year higher standard cumulative. So these amendments are related to that substantial improvement cumulative. So this is a text amendment to substantial improvement, SI definitions of the section 6.14.1 of Article 6, flood control, stormwater management, and wetland protection of Part 3 of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar. And this amendment proposes to exclude the following items from the definitions of the SI substantial improvement. Costs for repairs for the express purpose of repairing wind or flood damage to pre-damage condition of like kind quality may be excluded for the purposes of evaluating repairs and improvements in the prior 5-year period, provided the structure is not substantially damaged and the cost of repairing wind or flood damage do not exceed the 49% of the market value of the structure before the damage occurred. This text amendment, again, was reviewed against the 3 conditions outlined in Section 3.13.2 of the Land Development Code, and the proposed text amendment complies with the comprehensive plan and advances the Land Development Code by promoting public health, safety, and welfare through the orderly development, by excluding repair costs for restoring wind and flood damage to pre-damage conditions from the substantial improvement 5-year cumulative calculation. The amendment ensures fairness for property owners, and it only applies to non-substantially damaged structures where the costs to repair remain below the 49% of the structure's pre-damaged market value. The text amendment will contribute to promote the community welfare by excluding flood and wind damage repair costs from the 5-year cumulative. The amendment will balance the need for timely disaster recovery with the goals of floodplain management. And this amendment will not grant a special privilege, as the code amendment will be applied uniformly for any structure within the special flood hazard area. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt an ordinance to amend the definitions of substantial improvement in Section 6.14.1 of Article 6, Flood Control, Stormwater Management, and Wetland Protection of the Part 3 of the LDC of the City of Oldsmar. And we're also submitting a staff report into record. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. I'm going to open the public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak for or against this item? All right, with that, I will close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
All right, any other discussion?
Just, I would like to make a quick point to say thank you to Tatiana, Mandy, and the rest of their team for all the efforts, you know, this just being one of the output or outcomes of the work you've been doing in response to the storms, and finding some means to provide some relief to the residents, right? Because ultimately, the whole point of the substantial improvement or substantial damage concept is to discourage additional development of at-risk properties in the special flood hazard area. But finding this opportunity to effectively not penalize those that have done other things to their properties prior to the storms, and just trying to put things back in place where the structures haven't been, you know, dramatically damaged, substantially damaged, just provides that little bit of relief. It's not going to make everybody happy and take care of all the issues out there, but it's going to help some people. So just wanted to say thank you for all the work that's been and still going on, I'm sure, behind the scenes for those that don't see it.
Thank you, Tatiana.
Yeah, great job. Thank you. I agree with Andrew. Thank you very much for your hard work. All right, anybody else have any comments? All right, then roll call, please.
Councilmember Tatazeski,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Sharkey.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-19 passes on a first reading with 4 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you very much. Item 7.
Mayor, item number 7 is the public hearing, first reading of ordinance 2025-01. I'm going to read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2025-01, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Section 10-113 of Division 5, Criminal Provisions of Article 2, Adult Entertainment Code of Chapter 10, Amusements and Entertainments of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oldsmar to prohibit persons under the age of 18 years of age to enter, remain in, or purchase goods or services at an adult entertainment establishment, to prohibit persons under the age of 21 years of age to be an employee of an adult entertainment establishment, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. The background on this is that in a recent legislative session, the Florida legislature adopted a new statute, 787.30. The new statute sets a minimum age for employment at adult use entertainment establishments. Our current code provides that for 18 years of age, to make us compliant with that statute, we are amending the code to allow that a person cannot work at one of these establishments unless they are 21 years of age. I also reworded section 10-113 to make it a little bit clearer. The other information about admitting a person under the age of 18, that's prohibited. A person under the age of 18 can't remain in one of these establishments, and a person under the age of 18 cannot purchase goods or services at one of these establishments. That's in addition to the fact that you got to be 21 years of age to work at one of these establishments. So we're just trying to bring the code in compliance with this new state statute, so I'm recommending approval of ordinance 2025-01.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak for or against this item? All right, with that, I will close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion on this? All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Tatazeski,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Sharkey.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-1 passes on a first reading with 4 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you very much. Next item is item 8, and that'll be taken care of by our city manager, Felicia Donnelly.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 8 is to request to approve the Drone Replacement Program Financial Assistance Agreement between the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the City of Oldsmar. During the 2022 Florida legislative session, the Florida legislature amended Florida statute 934-50, establishing a list of approved drone manufacturers for use by government entities. At that time, the city was in possession of a drone manufactured by DJI, which was not on the approved list. In compliance with the amended statute, the department took necessary steps of placing the drone out of service. During the 2023 legislative session, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement was appropriated non-reoccurring funds to implement a drone replacement grant program to award reimbursement to law enforcement agencies who relinquish non-compliant drones. These drones will then be provided to the Florida Center for Cybersecurity at the University of South Florida to analyze if the drones present cybersecurity concerns. This year, the program is expanded to include fire service and other first responder agencies. The execution of this agreement is the first step in a three-step process for the Fire Rescue Department to participate in the program and receive a replacement for its non-compliant drone. The agreement's been approved by the city attorney and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? I have a question. What do you do with the old one?
We have to give it to
We
the person.
relinquish it.
Oh, okay, okay. Just curious. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 9.
Item number 9 is to consider approving Amendment 1 to Metzger and Willard, a V&A Consulting Engineers Company, Contract 2023-002-RFQ, General Engineering Consulting Services. On September 2023, the city awarded Contract 2023-002 RFQ for General Engineering Consulting Services to Metzger Willard Incorporated, a V&A Consulting Engineers Company. In the original agreement, sub-consultants were to be contracted with agreed-upon maximum markup to be provided in Attachment B. The original Attachment B did not reference a negotiated markup rate. This amendment provides an updated Attachment B, which defines the maximum rate for administrative oversight of sub-consultants working under Metzger Willard Incorporated, a V&A Consulting Engineers Company Authority. Staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this one? All right. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Next is City Clerk Kristen Garcia. Item number 10.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 10, consider scheduling the local canvassing board meeting for March 18th, 2025 at 6 p.m. The municipal election for the positions of mayor and council member for seat 4 will be held on March 11th, 2025. The Pinellas County Supervisor of Elections is responsible for conducting the municipal election. The county canvassing board will canvass the election results and certify the outcome. The city will then be provided with a certificate of election reflecting the official certified results. In accordance with Section 6.06 of the city charter, the city clerk shall transmit the election returns to the local canvassing board at a meeting to be held at 6 p.m. on the 7th day following the election. The local canvassing board, consisting of the city council, shall declare the results shown by the canvass of the total returns by resolution. At this meeting, the candidates elected will be administered the oath of office by the city clerk and will assume their duties upon taking the oath. To comply with the city charter, staff recommends scheduling the local canvassing board meeting for March 18th, 2025 at 6 p.m. to be held here in Council Chambers, 101 State Street West.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.
Item 11, consider appointing 2 electors to the local canvassing board meeting for the March 11th, 2025 Oldsmar municipal election. As I just said, the municipal election will be held on March 11th for the positions of mayor and council member for seat 4. Section 6.06 of the city charter provides for city council to appoint themselves or qualified electors as needed to serve on the local canvassing board for municipal elections. In lieu of the council serving as the canvassing board, the council may appoint a canvassing board to canvass the returns of a city election. Such canvassing board shall consist of one 5 qualified electors of the city, or 2 qualified electors of the city, and 1 or more members of the council, the total of which shall be 5 persons. No member of the canvassing board may be a candidate with opposition in the election being canvassed. Any qualified elector so appointed shall serve on the canvassing board only for the purposes of the regular or special election being canvassed, and his or her term shall terminate upon the completion of the canvassing of said election. Mayor Shiraki and Councilmember Gannon are both candidates with opposition in the election being canvassed, and therefore 2 electors will need to be appointed.
All right, thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Oh, you gotta pick a couple too.
Oh,
You can either pick that tonight,
I thought we were,
and I bring the resolution forward, and we can fill in the blanks at the next meeting.
okay.
So whatever is your pleasure.
I thought we were gonna pick, wait till, just approve it and then pick next meeting. No?
Whatever you want to do,
Have to.
it will work.
I have asked Amber Stevens to be the appointee in my position, because I can't be on the canvassing board, so
Okay.
can we leave one of them blank? Is that okay?
No,
I have a suggestion for the other one.
would you like to do it, Ginger?
Mayor, I'd like to nominate Tom O'Shea.
Okay.
He's here every meeting. Why not sit up here?
I was gonna nominate Joe Santana,
There's another good one.
because he started the process to do city council and unfortunately got displaced and couldn't.
You got a lot of people
finish,
that
so
wanna
he-
do it.
I
I
thought
like,
it'd
I
be a
like
good
Joe.
transition.
I like Joe Santana.
I guess this is a good problem to have
Since
too
it's
many
my
names
seat,
of
let's
people.
give it to
interested.
Joe.
It's
You might,
I will defer to you, Mayor, since it's your seat that has to be filled.
he texted me tonight that he's just now getting things back in order in his home, because he was displaced in the storm.
Oh, okay.
You might want to just ask him before.
Are you talking about Joe?
Yeah.
I spoke to him.
Did
He
you?
is
Okay, good.
available. He is local
good.
still. He's prepared to do it if we'd like to.
Oh, good.
I would like to
Good,
pick,
good.
I like Joe. I like Joe.
Okay.
Is that okay with you? You all agree? I need a motion to approve Amber and Joe.
I make a motion to approve Amber Stevens and Joe Santana, and as well as Councilmember Tedeschi, Councilmember Graber, and Councilmember Knapp to the canvassing board.
Second.
Did I say it right?
Yes, you did. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to be bringing that resolution back at the next meeting. So obviously, all the blanks will be filled in.
Perfect.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Next is item 12, and that is council comments, and we're going to start out with Councilmember Valerie Tadezski.
Yes. All right.
I had Steve Graber first. He's not here.
Oh. I was wondering why it took so long to think about it. So I'm just gonna keep it short, kind of a short meeting, so I'm gonna enjoy that a little. Just a reminder that the election is coming up, and we do have the candidate forum coming up on January 30th, which is next Thursday, starting at 6 p.m. So 6 p.m. To, I believe, 6:50 is the candidates for seat 4, and then at 7 p.m. will be the candidates for the mayor's race. So I just highly encourage everyone to either show up here in person to watch the candidate forum or tune in on YouTube and make an informed decision when you vote. So I've had a lot of people ask me what I think, and I keep telling them, watch the candidate forum. So you want to learn more about the candidates, that's how we do it. So other than that, I did get a chance to go to Touch a Truck this past weekend. It was fantastic. I went by myself because my kid is 16 now and so much less interested in trucks, but we used to go every single year, so it's very nostalgic for me. But I did run into some old high school friends who brought their little kids, and they came from Dunedin to our Touch a Truck. So I was like, and they had one request: can we try to get a mail truck for one of the, and I was like, ooh, because they have a little boy that's obsessed with being a mail carrier, and they were like, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good one. And I said, I'll pass it along. So that's it. I'm excited about the new year. And I love the event this weekend. I'm looking forward to the rest of them for the rest of the year. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Councilmember Katie Gannon.
Thank you, Mayor. I also was able to attend the Touch a Truck. They let me shoot the fire hose. It was it was a blast. You know, it's so fun to see everybody out there, all the kids. I talked to a couple people. One family was from Town and Country. Some people from West Chase. So obviously the word got out. As I was leaving, I asked a couple of people how they heard about it, because I'm always curious, like what methods of communication, are working. And they had both heard about it from Facebook. So whether it was a share from a friend of a friend of a friend, that was how they heard about it. So kudos for keeping up the Facebook page. And I heard one suggestion that perhaps next year we could include a alternative sensory experience for kids who might need a different sort of experience, maybe indoors, or maybe a quiet half hour prior to the rest of the event beginning. There's lots of different ways I think we could incorporate it, but just a thought. Honestly, it's a fantastic event, and y'all continue to improve upon it every single year. Congratulations and thank you. A piece of, I mean, it's good news to me. Senator Jennifer Bradley from Fleming Island area, just south of Jacksonville, has proposed Senate Bill 296, which would reconsider the state law mandating later start times for middle schools and high schools. So this kind of goes back to some of the things that I've been talking about for safe routes to school. This was proposed for the upcoming legislative session. And she's right near Duval County. So Duval County completely subsumes the city of Jacksonville. So when you're calling the city of Jacksonville, you're calling Duval County. And so you can imagine for them, it presents likewise a complete nightmare logistically. So it's, again, the start times are supposed to go into effect on July 1, 2026. And Duval County's school superintendent has obviously expressed support for reconsidering it. And as Mayor always says, local issues, local voices, essentially what they're advocating for is local control, right? Because, what works for one area doesn't necessarily work for another area. So, again, Senate Bill 296, Jennifer Bradley. So I would encourage everybody who's interested in this issue to reach out to your local elected officials and express your support or not. I do recognize that there are studies out there that prompted the original legislation showing that, our young people do need at least 10 hours of sleep. There was scientific data in support of this, but again, I think the local control could be better for the Pinellas County school system. So in any event, I wanted to let you guys know about that and encourage everybody, as Councilmember Tadaszewski said, the candidate forum is coming up, but also if you do prefer to vote by mail in the upcoming election, be sure to re-request your mail ballot, as all of those requests have to be redone every 4 years after after a general election. And I appreciate that the city has been getting out that information and sharing that. A lot of people are not aware or think that they have, signed the back of their ballot last time, and so it's just going to automatically come. And so I appreciate that information is flowing out to people. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Knapp.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. Back in December, the Board of County Commissioners had decided to rename the Noise Abatement Task Force to the Noise Abatement Working Group. So,
Really?
still the same group of people, still working on the same issues. Part of the issue that had kind of been presented in some of the meetings over the course of the years is the connotation around task force implied like that there would be tasks we would be accomplishing and projects and that sort of thing. So changing to the working group just kind of helps frame the intent a little bit to where we're getting all the data from the airport, but since we aren't the FAA, we are effectively limited quite a bit in the types of things we can do to help eliminate all the noise, right? So we have our next meeting coming up next Wednesday, so it'll be the first meeting of the Noise Abatement Working Group. And then the next thing is good luck to all the 4 of you that'll be participating next week in the candidate forum. I will not be here. I'll be watching from the comfort of home. and look forward to hearing what everybody has to discuss, and ultimately, you know, for the benefit of everybody out there that'll be making the decision for our city for the future. You know, may the best candidate win. Obviously, it won't be that night, but it'll be in the future. And then finally, I did not get to go to Touch a Truck because my wife and I took our children to her home state, the smallest state of Rhode Island, this past weekend. We did it on a whim. We were freezing. We got snow, so we got snow Sunday night. The kids had an absolutely blast of a day yesterday. Snowball fight, snowman about yay tall, little mini carrot stick. So it was a real treat to get out there, and I guess we kind of brought some of the cold air back, but hope to send it away soon. So, yeah, I saw all the pictures. It looked like it was a great time. Chief and staff just, you know, year after year do a great thing. Wish I could have been here to have my kids do it, but sure, frozen water wouldn't have been sprayed very well. So, but yeah, we enjoyed the trip up there. It was kind of my first time to actually enjoy a day versus being traveling when there's snow around. So it was fun to get everybody up there and see the home state under blanketed white conditions. That's all I have, Mayor.
I saw your dad at Touch a Truck. He told me you were
Oh,
up there.
did he?
He said you guys were
Yeah.
having fun.
We
That's
were.
great.
We had it was good. It's not an experience us folks down here get to experience really ever. I think the last time down here was 1977, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, very good. And I'm curious to hear what you have to say about the airplanes at your meeting, your new name. Because, you know, it's kind of funny, they were flying over my house for like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden now they stopped. So I don't know what they're,
Varies. It's just all about what air traffic control says, pretty much. And they're the ones directing flight paths, and it's
It was
our
like a-
region is kind of unique because we have two, albeit not the same size, airports in such close proximity. Tampa basically dictates when planes can take off from Pi.
okay.
They have to get clearance because they're all trying to get up and go in generally the same directions. So it does present some challenges for Pi because they can't, you know, the runway is in the orientation it is. They can't just pick it up and spin it, you know, 30
And
degrees.
what's so strange, they never used to fly over my house, never, for years. And then all of a sudden now they're there, but then it stopped.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was curious that, I'm glad you're on that.
Yeah, it's all about, I mean, they've got all their waypoints and they, you know, the planes aren't just going at random at places, like you said. For 2 weeks, it might be over you. It's oftentimes over my parents' house, right smack dab over the driveway when we're leaving or picking up kids in the evening. So, yeah, it's all, you know, ATC and FAA pretty much say these are where they're going. And unless the weather says otherwise, that's when our neighbors in Safety Harbor get the brunt of it, when they got to go straight in.
Yes. Well, thank you. Councilmember Gannon, do you have something else?
I'm so sorry. I did think of something. I know open forum is not a Q&A, but I'm gonna just softball this over to our city attorney. It's my understanding that if somebody makes a code enforcement complaint, their name is now taken down in accordance with state statute. However, the complainant or anyone could request who made the complaint through a public records request. Is that correct?
That's correct. The statute under Chapter 162 requires no anonymous complaints,
Okay.
so we have to have a name, hopefully an address. But once we have that information, there's no legal requirement that that information be provided to the alleged violator. But if there is a public records request, we have a legal obligation to disclose it.
I was gonna say, because we just got one of those like a week or so ago, and I was like, okay, so this is a thing. So when someone makes a code enforcement complaint, we're not telling so-and-so called on you. However, if they do say, well, I'm making a public records request for any code enforcement complaints against me, that information is required to be turned over in accordance with that law.
Correct, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yep.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're
for allowing
welcome,
that
no problem.
question.
Okay, I have a couple items. Chief, Touch a Truck was great. I think moving, not doing the Christmas holiday thing you used to do, and now moving the Touch a Truck for an event. I got there literally at I think it was 10 when it opened, and by 30 minutes later, there was no place to park. It was a great event. Great job to you and the firefighters. Thank you so much for what you do for our city. Last week, I had the opportunity to go to Tallahassee on Tuesday, the 14th, and Wednesday, the 15th. I had several meetings with, the first meeting on Tuesday, and the crazy news is our flight was canceled. The plane was not working, so we had to hop in a car and drive, which was, it's not fun driving for 4 hours, trust me. And it was cold. But anyways, first meeting was with the Department of Transportation, Gabe Matthews, and then that evening, I also attended a social dinner at night, and I met a ton of individuals around the state from all different counties in the transportation industry. And I have to tell you, it was a great event, just getting to know everyone, what's going on, different transportation issues that are going on within our state, and then also learning what's going on in our county. And it was just a great event. Then the next day, we went to the House of Representatives, and we met with Linda Cheney, House Representative Lindsey Cross, Senator Darrell Roussan, Senator Ed Hooper, and we talked about PSTA and the future of the MPO, if it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. We talked about that the PSTA is not asking for any funding this year. We don't want any funding from the state. We're just trying to promote our success with the Sunrunner. We're promoting the success of different, the new ferry service that's going to start next week from Clearwater to Clearwater Beach. And then once Dunedin gets their pier back, or their marina back, it'll go up to there. So we just had a good meeting with that. And then our last meeting of the day, which was my favorite, I met Cody Farrow, Deputy Chief of Staff with the governor's office. That was really in Tallahassee, going into the governor's office and meeting with them. And just he questioned a lot about PSTA and what we're doing with our electric buses. It was just a really good trip, short. The next day, we hopped in the car at the end of the day at 5:30. We drove back, didn't get home till about 9:30 at night, but it was great. Next, my first Forward Pinellas meeting. That was great. Andrew, you're being missed, but on January 8th, at 1 p.m., the board approved me as an alternate member for the Metropolitan Planning Organization Advisory Committee, the MPOAC. So I'll be an alternative member for that. I don't know the whole details of that, but I understand they meet in Orlando. If Patty Reed, which is the council member, if she can't make it, I will attend for her. Also, the board endorsed the regional transportation priorities adopted by the Suncoast Transportation Planning Alliance and its subcommittees, the Transportation Management Area TMA Leadership Group that includes a project to advance transit in the I-275 corridor from St. Petersburg to Pasco County. That is going to be really cool if that ever happens. That was exciting. The board also approved the 2025 safety performance measures and targets supporting a goal of zero transportation-related fatalities and serious injuries, and setting targets for crashes that are achievable through the prioritization of projects that help improve safety. Last but not least, the board received a presentation regarding the use of the camera enforcement of vehicles passing school buses that we talked about last week, or our last meeting, excuse me. The Pinellas County School District has opted to not utilize these cameras enforcement at this time and shared their rationale. I also reviewed this with the sheriff, and he agrees he's not interested in doing the camera enforcement. And last but not least, I wanted to ask, I guess the Suncoast League of Cities had their meeting on Friday, and Tom Reed, council member of the city of South Pasadena, was sworn in as the new president, and I congratulate him for his hard work. I remember when I was president, I asked him to join us as the secretary and treasurer, and now he was sworn in as president. And I don't know, did you happen to be able to go?
I was not actually invited. I've never gotten a calendar. I got with Angela, and she let me know the entire Suncoast website has been hacked.
Oh, okay.
So if you try to go to the calendar or to their website, do not click any subsequent windows that open.
Okay.
It will, it is, wait, let me see if I use the right, a phishing or spear phishing, smishing, one of the things that we're required to learn about from the city. But yes, their website has been hacked. She let me know that she's going to separately email it to me, the schedule, and they are working on the cybersecurity issue.
Well, thank you for sharing, because when I was president, we actually designed that website, because I overhauled it, and now, I mean, it was like time for redo it again. That was, what, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for sharing
Good
that.
timing, good timing. So don't click on it. Don't click
Well,
on
there you
it.
go. That's all the updates I have. Council, the open forum is going to be fun. I'm ready to do it, and I'm excited for all the 4 candidates, and all I can say is we're going to do our best, and forget the rest. All right, with that, we have the consent docket. Does anybody? Or a tentative agenda? I'm sorry, the tentative agenda. Thank you. For January 4th, 2025 council meeting, does anybody wish to pull or add anything to the agenda? No? All right, then I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Second.
I have a motion, the second, any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Good evening, everyone. Stay warm. Meeting adjourned.